to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us right or wrong, and to all those good friends that give you this song.
Well, hello good friends, and welcome back to The Last Walk, Remember When, with your host, Ron Baumbach. And today, we're going back in time to the fun times. So, get up off that easy chair, walk over to your kitchen, reach up into the cupboard, take out a nice, cool 2 cups, take out your Hershey chocolate syrup, couple of marshmallows, a little sprig of mint, put on the teapot, make some nice, warm, hot chocolate for you and your special person. Reach up into the cupboard, take out some chocolate-covered cherries, sit back, go back in your easy chair, turn on the lava lamp, close your eyes, get ready. The Last Walk is back.
Life is too short, we get only one turn. With luck we find beauty, but we sometimes get burned. But if you've had a true friend, or perhaps a love, you've experienced a piece of heaven above.
Well, friends, it's Valentine's week. And what are you doing for your special someone? And maybe think back about the history of Valentine's Day. And thanks to our friends at History.com, we have a little lesson. But first, think back to one special candy. What's a candy you're getting your special person? Some people in my family like a thing called sweethearts. The little candy hearts that come in the bag. Now, they've been around for a long time. 1902. Formed by a company called Necco, Necco, the Necco wafers. So in 1902, these folks started doing their famous sweetheart candies. Can you think of the different sayings and expressions on your favorite Necco wafers? Think back. What's your favorite one when you reach in the bag, when you give to someone special? And it says, come on, you know, there's many, many ones, and you'll be pulling them out of the bag this week as you sit down with your love of your life and your conversation hearts. It may say, recipe for love, or table for 2, or my treat, sugar pie, honey bun, spice it up, in a fog, chill out, cloud 9, heat wave, sunshine, get my drift, nature lover, do good. How about puppy love? Take a walk. Bear hug. Top dog. You are a tiger. Go fish. Love bird. Perfect. House party. Home run. Sweet home. Go home. Home soon. Homesick. I love you. Dream team. Love life. Be a sport. Cheer me on. All-star and heart of gold. What's your favorite from the conversation hearts of your past? Get ready. What are you giving your love this Valentine's Day for Valentine's? Now, thanks to the good people at History.com, they did a really nice review of the history of Valentine's Day. What are you doing special? What's your favorite memories of Valentine's Day? Do you know where the day came from? Now, supposedly there's all different stories about how it began. History goes way back to ancient days of Rome, and a patron saint called Saint Valentine's. What's the real story? Well, there's a bunch of stories, my friends. A bunch of stories. Supposedly a guy named Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape from the harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten and tortured. According to one legend, an imprisoned guy named Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly the jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Before his death, it's alleged he wrote a letter signed from your Valentine, probably the first Valentine card ever sent. There's 150 million Valentine cards sent every year. The most common card sent next to Christmas holidays. Amazing. The legend of Valentine goes on for many, many years. Now, way back when, around 270 AD, it was a pagan festival in Rome. Back in February, for fertilization. It's a celebration of a feast called Lupercalia, or Lupercalia, or Luperhuavia, somebody. Anyway, it was the Ides of February, February 15th. Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to a guy named Faunus, Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, to bring good things and good stuff, good agriculture, to the people of the Roman Empire, to the founders, Romulus and Remus, the guys who started all in ancient Rome. Now, to begin the festival, members of the Luperci, an order of Roman priests, would gather at a sacred cave where the infants Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, were believed to have been cared for by a she-wolf or a lupa. The priest would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. Then he would strip the dog and get the skins and run around with the blood and knock on people's doors and bring around the blood, and hopefully people would say, "Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Give me a whole splash of that stuff." And they would welcome it, thinking it was going to make them fertile during the next year. Now, the bachelors, the women would basically all put their names in a big urn, and all the bachelors in the city would choose a name, and they become paired with the year for 1 year with a chosen woman, and hopefully it ended in marriage. That's how they did it way back when. Now, next to that guy in the prison, way back in ancient time, the next time we see a greeting with the Valentine greeting was around 1400. The oldest known Valentine still in existence today was a poem written in 1415 by a fellow named Charles, the Duke of Orleans. Not New Orleans, but Orleans. He wrote it to his wife while he's in prison. I guess these guys all spend a lot of time in jail. In the Tower of London, following his capture at the Battle of Agincourt. The greeting is now part of the manuscript collection at the British Library in London, England. Several years later, it's believed King Henry V hired a writer named John Lydgate to compose a Valentine poem to his love, Catherine of Valois. Now, Valentine's Day is not just celebrated in the USA. It's in Canada, the UK, France, of course, France, Australia, and Great Britain. Valentine's Day became popularly celebrated around the 17th century. By the middle of the 18th, it was common for friends and lovers of all social classes to exchange small tokens of affection or handwritten notes. And by 1900, printed cards began to replace written letters due to improvements in printing technology. That's where these guys all came around. Maybe that's where Hallmark got their start from. Who knows? And cheaper postage rates contributed to an increase in the popularity of sending Valentine's Day greetings back in old-time England. What was the first Valentine's card you sent? Or, better yet, do you recall the first Valentine's card you received? Think back to your love memories of way back when. What's the card you cherish the most? Have you saved those cards? Where'd you put them? Are they locked away under your pillow? Where's the Valentine in your heart?
Oh, I've been so lucky and I've been so blessed. In spite of my failings, I've found success. For I've known love and I've known good times, and I have known friendship and written some rhymes.
Who in the world is this guy Cupid, and where did he come from? Well, Cupid supposedly was an ancient god mythology from way back when in Greek mythology. The son of Venus, one of the Greek gods of love. And I don't know why in the world they chose to pick a bow and arrow to shoot people and make them fall in love with each other. I would think it'd be more like you get a lawsuit. But basically, Cupid was the guy shooting people with the bow and arrow, having them all fall in love with their love torch. So he's the history of Cupid way back when. Now, how many of you were too cheap to buy a Valentine's gift, so you broke up with a girl or broke up with a guy just before Valentine's Day. You made it through Christmas, made it through the holidays, then along comes Valentine's Day and you figure, well, I'm out of here, baby. So just before the holiday, you just do the old Dear John, and that ends that romance. I once went to a high school dance. I think I was a freshman in college, went to a high school dance in my old high school. I met a girl on Valentine's Day, and her name was Valentine. I remember I drove her home, and I thought, wow, this would be really amazing. I'm meeting a girl named Valentine on Valentine's Day. Well, I never saw that girl again, never asked for a name and number, and she basically got out of the car and said, thanks for the ride. So there goes that love story. But what's your love story? What's your favorite Valentine's Day of the past? And what do you plan to do on Valentine's this year? My favorite Valentine was the love of my life. We were dating for about a month, about 6 weeks, 5 weeks dating. And I went into hock trying to impress her. I know she thinks, and she got mad at me later on when she realized what I was doing, but I would basically do whatever I could to impress her every week with different dates. So it was Valentine's Day, and we're dating about 5 or 6 weeks now. And I figured, where better to bring her to than one of the most established restaurants in Wall Street. We both worked in Wall Street back then. I was in air freight sales. That was my territory. And she was secretary to a major brokerage firm. And I wanted to really impress her on Valentine's Day in 1974. So I took her to a restaurant, a very famous restaurant, one of the oldest established restaurants in America, Delmonico's Steakhouse. Now, Delmonico's has an incredible history. It's been around since 1860. They're the ones who invented Eggs Benedict, and I believe also Lobster Newburg. Eggs Benedict because someone walked in there one day around 1865. Some woman walked in for a brunch and didn't like anything on the menu and told the chef how to make Eggs Benedict. So they kept it, they loved it, they liked it, and now it's part of the menu forever and many other places for brunch. Anyway, so my wife, my then girlfriend, and I go there, Delmonico's, in 1974, and she was impressed, and I was impressed, and I was thrilled I was sharing the day with her. What's your favorite memory of Valentine's Day? Who did you share it with? What was your first date of the love of your life on Valentine's Day? Think back. Think of the memories. Bring them back. They're yours. Cherish them. Now, probably if you think back, the 3 most famous couples of history, probably be the first one would be Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Then you have Romeo and Juliet. Hopefully the third couple is you and your special someone. What are you doing on Valentine's night? I recall a couple of years ago, one of the last years of my working career, I had a dinner engagement with the senior VP of a major customer, Pfizer. I took the CEO of my company and my boss, the VP, and we had a dinner arrangement. The only date that this gentleman could get together with us was on February the 14th. So here we are, 4 guys, having Valentine's night dinner in an incredibly nice, wonderful restaurant in the middle of Manhattan. And I'm thinking, I couldn't be with my wife. They were not with theirs. And we're the 4 guys sitting there at dinner, having a pretty good time, but it wasn't what I liked to be. But it was a good dinner nevertheless. So what's your most awkward Valentine's night day? Or most awkward Valentine's dinner? What's the one you think back the most fondly of? And where do you plan to go this year with your special someone? Now you realize the flowers and roses go way up in prices around Valentine's Day. There's a marked increase in the retail price of these things. Incredible. Next day you get them like 1/3 the price. But chocolates are the big thing. You all know the Brax candy, the Queen Anne, the Sellers, Russell Stover, the Lindt, all those brands. What's the one you always get? What does your special someone always like the most? Does the big heart that they pick up with all the candy inside of it?